brown hat.
Yes. Do you want to wear my hat?
Not overly educated. So he said he smeared his
No,
opponent.
daddy hat.
Oh.
Pepper, and he said that Pepper's sister was once a thespian, and that Pepper's brother was a Homo sapien, and the others were shocked
Daddy
and,
hat.
and didn't vote for him. Actually, he never said that.
Daddy
It was a joke made up by a newspaper reporter. But the story has been repeated so many times that
Daddy
true.
camel.
When you say people believe
Daddy camel.
Oh yes, that is my camera.
the rest of humanity just figured out long ago.
We will take a poll.
A.J. Jacobs, his current project is related to everyone on the planet, even me. As part of the global family reunion, A.J. as always.
Would you like waffle and strawberries and cream?
Yes, I would like a waffle and strawberries.
Would you like one waffle or two?
How many waffles remain?
There's a whole other box of
Oh,
waffles.
okay. In that case, I would like to have 2.
I hope you're still listening to NPR News.
Would you like raspberries on the other side?
This is 89.9 WWNO.
Half style.
Style.
All the berries.
All the
Support
berries
for
and
WWNO
cream.
comes from Resource Management LLC, a firm specializing in financial planning and asset management for businesses and individuals worldwide.
This
Randy
one.
Weishi and Michael Zabalawi, certified financial planners, and Megan Weishi at Resource Management
Just
LLC
wow.
provide their services on a fee-only arrangement. 833
Raspberries.
also
Raspberries.
comes from Hazelnut
Red strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
Offers gift
And
ideas,
they are-
sophisticated home accessories, and bridal registry. Hazelnut, New Orleans charm with a cosmopolitan twist. 5515 Magazine Street and now open in Mandeville. 2735 Highway 190 in the village at Pelican Point. Online at hazelnutneworleans.com. When daylight savings time arrives, who adjusts all those old clocks? We'll talk about that at 8:47.
I'm Giles Snyder with these headlines. Bangladesh was hit by a widespread blackout today after a transmission line bringing electricity from neighboring India failed. The state power company says the failure was caused by a technical glitch. Federal investigators are expected to arrive today in Southern California's Mojave Desert, where Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 came down after a high-altitude explosion. The accident killed a pilot and seriously injured a second. It was the second setback for the commercial space industry in less than a week. China, meanwhile, has recovered an experimental spacecraft that flew around the moon in a test run for the country's first unmanned trip to the lunar surface. The trip ended today, marking the first time in almost 40 years that a spacecraft has returned to Earth after traveling around the moon. I'm Giles Snyder.
More berries.
Washington.
More berries.
You have lots of strawberries right there on your waffle.
Out. No, out.
This is Weekend
You should eat that.
NPR News. I'm Scott Sullivan.
It's delicious.
Sir Richard Branson,
Waffle.
seen in Mojave. The investigation has
and
begun into
waffle.
Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 rocket plane crash.
Cupcakes.
This flight yesterday. One pilot was killed. Another has serious injuries. Virgin Galactic has already sold tickets for passengers to fly aboard the rocket plane
Bunnies
on the Solo
and
mission
Rodeo.
next year. A number of celebrities have reportedly bought tickets at $250,000 a seat. Joel Gunbrenner is a former Washington Post reporter who
Ouch.
wrote a book about the Spaceship One program.
More berries outside.
Thank you, Brad.
You should eat some of the strawberries, Ab.
Yes, I did. I lost a very dear friend and another who was seriously injured, although I did hear
Daddy,
he is doing fairly well.
those
And
strawberries.
is expected to pull
Is that for me?
You know this program
Mmm. Mmm.
You've been working on with people.
That's a very good
Do
strawberry.
you know
Ab.
of any doubts about the
Yeah.
rocket that they tested
You should eat it.
yesterday, Spaceship 2?
I did. No, it was a brand new rocket that they were using yesterday. And in fact, yesterday's flight test
Oh,
was
hooray.
the first time that
Red
they
breakfast.
this new rocket.
With cream.
New rocket. I have no doubt. to get to the explosion.
Legal people are going to be investigating this in the next years. What do you think happens based on what you know of Virgin Galactic program?
I thought there was a whole other box of waffles. There's another box of waffles that has 2 waffles in it. That's it. I'm out of waffles.
Okay.
in the near future. And by that, I mean next 5 years. They still have a future.
Just enough waffles for today.
Airplane launches station survived
Yeah.
unhurt. That airplane is a very special airplane. It can fly up to 60, 70,000 feet.
Ms. Brenner, earlier this week, the Ontario rocket blew up shortly after liftoff. As you know, the private space companies have hired big names and very good people, but the question's going to be asked about if they have the resources in private space ventures to succeed.
Questions like that are going to be asked, and I would say that the answer is a resounding yes. And these two
Vote.
actions should not
Vote.
do the future of private space. And I
Would you like to work?
that the
Good
future of
night.
space lies
Chop
in
it
the
up.
private sector. And it's only in the private sector where you have markets that are designed to keep everybody focused on the bottom line. And that is not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when people aren't being honest about what's happening within the corporation. And I don't believe in this particular case that Virgin has really portrayed themselves in the right light. They've been nothing but optimists and behind closed doors that cause a lot of things.
Joel Lynn Brenner, from the Washington Post reporter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nearly 50 Palestinians from the West Bank went to Israel for an unusual one-day trip last week. Their itinerary included visits to Israeli-controlled crossings into Gaza and conversations with Israelis who live nearby. Organizers wanted the Palestinian visitors to hear about the Israeli experience during the war. And here's Emily Harris explains why they didn't see the war.
A Palestinian who lives in Israel dreamed up this trip. Mustafa Habib says he wanted West Bank Palestinians to visit Israeli communities and to take home this message of peace.
الحرب بالآخر دمار إيجابي.
Nice.
It's destruction for both Israelis and Arabs.
And
Let's
they'll
stop
try.
this. Peace is done by people, not leaders.
Habib does not equate the damage in Israel to the vast destruction in Gaza, but he wanted Palestinians to get a peek into the experience of ordinary Israelis. Habib got help from Bruna Inbar, a Jewish Israeli involved in all sorts of efforts to bring together Israelis and Palestinians. Inbar says he knew this effort would fail. Second, he saw Israeli TV cameras out the bus window at their first stop.
Something like 10 or 12 camera of TV stopped me. And I see the Palestinians. I said, you want it or no? They cried. They said, no.
It turns out that a different Israeli involved in planning the trip had tipped off the Israeli media. But why would that be an unpleasant surprise for Palestinian visitors?
Honestly,
Can you blow your nose for me?
complicated, okay? Even in Palestine, it's complicated.
Aline, a young Palestinian woman on the trip, would only give her first name.
People don't want anyone to understand something in the wrong way, okay? And also, these people
Afraid exactly of what? She wasn't sure, but she knew she didn't want to find out.
when you say about Israeli and Palestinian are together, it's not nice and it's not acceptable. I don't know what's going to happen here, but for me, no, I will not put myself in that situation, okay?
Palestinians have a particular word for doing things with Israelis. It sounds kind of nice, normalization, but actually it's a real insult. Many Palestinians see playing soccer or even doing business with Israelis as a betrayal, accepting Israeli dominance by acting like everything's normal. This is a problem for peace groups. American Donna Stefano directs the Middle East Office of Seeds of Peace, which brings Palestinian and Israeli youth together for summer camp. She says anti-normalization pressure has a real impact on Palestinians.
When they return from camp and they try to explain the powerful personal transformation that they had, it just gets thrown back into their face that normalization, you're talking to Israelis, you should be talking to Israelis.
Over much of the decades-old conflict, Israelis and Palestinians rubbed shoulders at work or shopping. Now they are mostly separated by a physical barrier Israel built, citing security and tight restrictions on who can cross back and forth. Stefan says at this point, both sides are afraid to break down their carefully honed self-identities.
An identity that's formed through a very strong national narrative.
How would you like me to chop your waffle?
And that national narrative doesn't recognize or the humanity of the other.
It seems that perhaps the Palestinian organizers
Gesundheit.
participants they were meeting Israelis.
Yes, chop or no chop?
Showed up. Those visitors were canceled, and the bus took them straight to the beach, a real treat for landlocked West Bank Palestinians. Playing in the waves, Palestinians insisted the sun and surf were all they signed up for. No organizer would admit who exactly leaked to the media or failed to tell Palestinians that Israelis were on the agenda. In the shade, inhaling the sweet smoke of a waterpipe, Palestinian organizer Mustafa Habib blamed the day's border plans on a Palestinian-Israeli misunderstanding.
You want me to chop that one?
Emily Harris, NPR News.
Too far.
In a new book, Cornel West tries to look unblinkingly at the power of what he calls black prophetic fire. 6 African American leaders, Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois,
My
Josephine
chopping
Baker,
this
Malcolm
one.
X, and Ida B. Wells.
Okay.
We believe
You are chopped.
enlivened America, even as their messages have often been blunt or ignored, or almost worse, deodorant.
My own waffle.
Mommy has her own waffle, yeah.
Theological Seminary engages in dialogue with Krista Bushin, professor at the University of Frankfurt. Their new book is
My last bite. My last bite. My last bite. I got it.
Fire for justice, hypersensitive to the suffering of others, especially the weak, the vulnerable, the widow, the fatherless, the mothers. A leader, somebody who has to jump in the middle of the fray, be prudential. We hope rather than opportunistic, but a prophetic person tells the truth, expose lies, bear witness, and then usually is pushed to the margin.
No, my brain.
It's just going to be in your room. So it's there for you to play with.
Fire. We like the fruits of a 1963. We like to think that somehow we could not agree with what seemed to be one American critique when he said, my government is the biggest conveyor of violence in the world. You know, Martin died, 72% of Americans disapproved of him, and 55% of black Americans disapproved of him. He was viewed again as too tied to a anti-war position, certainly trying to bring poor people, precious poor people, all colors together in Washington.
And you also say, I think you use the term Santa Clausified, but you also say Malcolm X has been transformed. He winds up on the stamp you don't particularly like. He winds up in Spike Lee's major movie. What goes on to it prophetically?
Well, we have nothing against the stamp, and certainly nothing against Brother Spike's movie, but we just have to recognize what Malcolm was trying to do. So Malcolm X was motivated by a very love of people. And his commitment to black people was so intense that it scared many black people themselves. And Malcolm engaged in what the Greeks call parrhesia, which is frank speech, plain speech, unintimidated speech, so biting that it pushes you against the wall. And I think we need Malcolm's spirit even in 2014 with the Ferguson, with the massive unemployment, the soul murder that takes place too often in our inner city schools, and of course the greed at the top. And we know in the criminal justice system, poor people get caught with drugs, they take them straight to jail. The Wall Street executives were able to engage in market manipulation, insider trading, host of other crimes, and they should treat crimes.
I'm so glad you wrote about Ida.
Oh, yeah.
Her name is not up there, obviously, with a lot of others, but this was a very impressive.
Absolutely.
No.
Talked about in the same breath as Martin. Douglas.
You would like your milk, please?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
She
No,
looked
I don't
ancient
say
in
that.
the face, with her head, and then went to England. She was willing to speak truths.
Dummy. Dummy. Dummy.
You have strawberries and cream on your waffle.
No, dummy. Out.
Ended up not speaking as courageously.
Dummy out.
And that's why I conclude many ways she is the most courageous in the sense of looking at
Catfish. Salmon.
crushed by it.
Fishing.
You want to go fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it? I actually found one of the little plastic bathtub fish. I found one in the bed last night.
Maybe we were experiencing the relative death of black prophetic fire in the age of Obama. What I call
I'm
the
a
demonstration
sweet
of
bed.
professional class where everybody's looking to black professionals for success, but in many ways they are as fearful, intimidated, afraid vis-a-vis their careers, and therefore they don't want to tell the truth. They don't
Are you all done?
sacrifice and take a risk. But they want to tell us. They're just
Did you have some waffle?
He did.
Oh, good.
Here goes a great
Was it yummy?
Yeah.
You gonna have some more?
Despise, but still love. People who are
You
deceived, but still
gonna poke some with your fork and eat it?
No.
No?
I had to be not perfect, but exemplary figures of integrity, honesty, and decency, and therefore an example for all of us, regardless of color, sexual orientation, or nation.
Cornell West's new book, a dialogue with Mr. Buschendorf, is Black Prophetic Fire. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for making breakfast, Ali. It's quite delicious.
You're very welcome.
We taped our interview with Professor West. He was arrested at a protest in support of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. We called him to ask if he agreed to help provide Black Prophetic Fire. He said yes, and quote, "To be a part of the young fire, stand alongside them in Ferguson."
All done?
Hot ice cream. Hot food.
Yes.
Hap, did you want to drink some more milk? Hap? See boy, would you like to drink some more milk?
You're listening to Weekend Edition from NPR News. Americans gain an hour tonight with the seasonal end of daylight saving time.
Mommy, I done.
Who is Mama?
Hap's mama.
Where's Hap's Mama?
Right there.
Oh.
Chair.
Sitting in her chair. Mommy's sitting in her chair.
Mama.
Mommy.
My mommy.
Your mommy?
Yeah.
Your mommy needs to clean you a little bit. I need to find some wipes before I set you loose.
I was thinking, what happened? I said, I would take his room, we could change clothes.
Ah. You would definitely change clothes. I was thinking about his cute face. Hap,